We're going to discuss the new changes to Dead Man Switch, mainly because today's my birthday and I can't be bothered editing for 10 hours or being a negative Nelly like normal, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more positive just this once. So, Dead Man Switch is a perk from Slinger and it just got adjusted, and anybody like me probably read the patch note changes and thought, well, there's another slowdown perk that they've ruined. But there is a change I didn't realise until running it that has made me question it a little bit more. Let's just quickly explain how the perk worked and how it now works before it was changed. It reads, after hooking a survivor, Dead Man Switch activates for 30 seconds. Blocks any generator any survivor stops repairing within the activation window. This effect lasts for the remainder of the activation window. So, you hook somebody and then the perk will activate for 30 seconds. If anybody gets off a generator within those 30 seconds, it blocks for the remainder of the 30 seconds. New Dead Man Switch, however, reads as follows. After hooking a survivor, Dead Man Switch activates. Blocks the first generator any survivor stops repairing for 50 seconds. On first read of this, I'm sure that many of you came to the same conclusion that I did, where they made it work on only one generator and then buffed the time from 30 seconds up to 50 seconds. This, however, is not how New Dead Man Switch is exactly, and where the perk might have actually been buffed. See, when you hook somebody, the perk just activates. It doesn't begin counting down from 50 seconds. Then while the perk is activated, the next person who jumps off a generator actually activates the perk, and then that generator is blocked for 50 seconds from the time when they jump off the generator. This is an extremely important distinction to make, because now not only is the timer increased, but the average amount of time that it is blocked is substantially increased, because you will always block the generator for the full 50 seconds of the perk, compared to before where generally you would only block a generator for about 15 seconds since the timer started from the moment you hooked somebody. Let's just do a little visual representation. So let's say Spirit, you just hooked somebody, okay? And we've got Rebecca and we have Meg over here doing a generator. So she's hooked someone, this is old Dead Man Switch. She hooks someone and now Dead Man Switch is activated. Let's say it takes her 15 seconds to get from the hook all the way over here to pressure this generator. Well, it's taken 15 seconds to get here. Dead Man Switch is only active for 15 seconds. So then Rebecca and Meg run off from the generator and Spirit decides to chase the Rebecca. Well, in 15 seconds time, Meg's able to just come straight back here and start working on the generator, because 15 seconds passed from hooking to pressuring the generator. The perk is only up for 30 seconds, which leaves only 15 seconds worth of blocking. Not only that, but the whole 15 seconds that Spirit spent walking over here, these two were doing the generator because it wasn't blocked. This means that they've only got an effective 15 seconds worth of blocking on this generator, which generally isn't that much. Now we'll contrast that to New Dead Man Switch. So again, Spirit just hooks the survivor and then Dead Man Switch is now active. Now if she walks over here, it doesn't matter how long it takes her to walk this way, it could take 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. She walks over here and these two are on the generator and they jump off because they don't want to get hit. Well, now this generator is blocked for the full 50 seconds, which means the Spirit is free to chase this Rebecca for the full 50 seconds and Meg cannot do anything about it. She can't jump on the gen. She just has to sit there and watch it being done. So where does this leave the perk on the power scale? We're going to go through the positives and the negatives. Well, the positives are that the average time that a single generator is blocked has substantially increased, going from around 20 seconds at most if you weren't synergizing with other perks to a guaranteed 50 seconds. The next positive is if it's combined with something like barbecue, it will allow you to shut down people trying to double up on generators very effectively by actively choosing to pressure the generator with the most people on it, as I showcased in the example. It's also made the perk stronger as the game goes on. 50 seconds of generator blocking in a 3-gen scenario is massive and causes really good amount of passive slowdown for you as the killer, and will essentially force survivors to start over and work on a different generator. It also allows you to split pressure a bit better with perks like Pop Goes a Weasel. Now if two generators are quite far along, you can use Dead Man Switch to block one of them for 50 seconds and not have to worry about it, and then use Pop to regress the other generator that's quite far along. Then by the time that Dead Man Switch is unblocked, you're probably going to get another hook, which is going to give you another pop, which will then allow you to pressure the generators again. As for negatives, the biggest one for me is it's massively hampered Grim Embrace as a viable perk. For those unaware, Grim Embrace blocks generators for 10 seconds the first time you hook a survivor. Then the fourth time you've hooked a survivor who has not been hooked before, it blocks all generators for 40 seconds. The 10 seconds default block is really not that good, but if you comboed it with Dead Man Switch, if the survivor was working on the generator as Grim Embrace activates, activated, it would block that generator for dead man switches 30 seconds. This encouraged the killer not to tunnel by actively rewarding them for not doing it. It cost 2 perk slots, but it was a very healthy interaction. This is now gone since it only blocks 1 generator, now making the initial 3 hooks pretty worthless, which is a massive shame. You can also just straight counter the perk now by tapping on a generator that nobody is working on. When somebody gets hooked, blocking that useless generator for 50 seconds rather than one you're actively working on. So what we've got here is quite a lot of positives, and we've also got quite a lot of negatives for this change. Personally, I've been running the perk on Dracula and I've been noticing a lot of value from it while I've been running it with a full set of slowdown. For me, I think the perk has been substantially buffed on its own in a build, but when synergized with other specific perks, it's seen a massive hit to overall pressure. The reason for this is because you don't need to worry about it activating the moment you hook somebody, so you aren't encouraged to run it with perks that would cause survivors to jump off a generator as soon as possible from the hook, such as Pain Resonance and Grim Embrace. You also can't use these perks to try and get multiple generators to be blocked at once like you used to be able to. You don't need to worry about trying to get even more value from that. However, since you don't need to worry about wasting potential gen blocking time, you aren't as pressured into comboing it with other slowdown to get the maximum value from the perk. In fact, the only perk in my opinion that really maximizes its effectiveness would be Pain Resonance, because you can use it to block the most progress generated for 50 seconds assuming the survivor doesn't jump off the gen just before you hook someone to prevent the scream like you would prior, but now the gen is blocked for an extra 20 seconds. It's actually quite an interesting change, and honestly a very much welcomed one, since Behavior's MO for the past 2 years has just been to nuke all forms of gen slowdown whether they needed nerfing or not, and at least in this single situation we've gotten some significant benefits for the nerfs it received. Now, if Behavior decided to do this with all their gen slowdown, maybe we wouldn't be in a state where there's only like 4 viable gen slowdown perks left, and Call of Brine does so little slowdown that a single missed skill check is better than 4 minutes worth of Call of Brine.
Look how they massacred my boy.
So while there are definitely aspects of this perk I disagree with, at least they haven't just completely fucked the perk over, which is genuinely surprising. I think the opinions that people will have on this perk will heavily depend on the killer that they enjoy playing and how much it affects them. For example, I can imagine Doctor mains especially won't be too happy with this change, since they can't use static blasts to block multiple generators around them anymore. Lovers of the Grim Embrace and DMS combo will probably hate the change as well, but I think killers will get a great value out of the changes and appreciate the extended block time of 3 gen killers such as Trapper and Hag. So those people will probably especially enjoy these changes. Anyway, I'd love to hear other people's thoughts regarding the perk and whether they like it or not. Maybe there's some interaction that I haven't thought of, or some spicy perk combination that I've also not thought of. But for now, I'll just catch you guys in the next one. Peace.